Are you ready?
Starting now?
Oh, now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
You know, but
You're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. This time, live from fucking Cleveland.
Hello, Cleveland.
Yeah, we were testing out volumes right before we got on, and my Mike, I was like, "Yeah, you sound like really far away from your microphone." And he says I was leaning back, and then he did. Go ahead.
And then I got nice and close. Hello, ladies.
I told him it sounded like some late night thing that we would do. Hello and welcome to Sober, Not Mature.
After hours.
Yes, after hours. That's our OnlyFans episode. Shit, would go broke having that. It probably costs something to put those sites up, doesn't it? What do you think?
I'm sure, yeah, we would definitely have to pay for it because nobody else would.
Yeah, I don't think that's our path to riches or anything like that. So,
no.
All right then. Well, hey, you know what? It's a big world. There's people out there that would probably have some sort of fetish for what the two of us have to offer. So let's not put it out of. I'm just going to put that on it. Back burner side note there, just in case all this other shit doesn't work out. You know, old guy OnlyFans. OGOF. All right.
Right.
So yeah, I'm out.
Have we started yet?
I think we did, but yeah, I'm out in Cleveland, and so if anyone didn't see the post from a couple of days ago, well, originally we had Dr. Rob Kelly scheduled for this week, and interesting individual. We were contacted by his assistant. I think she is his assistant. Works with him, staff member, colleague, whatever you want to call it. A couple of months ago, I think. And, when I say interesting, I do mean that in a good way. He's, kind of touted as the Gordon Ramsay of recovery and all these different things. And, when we had watched his videos, we were like, this would be cool. So we had it all set for tonight, and just a personal situation outside of his control. They had to postpone it. And I'll be honest with you, my first thought was, God, I wonder if they really started to listen to us.
And, always a possibility.
Because maybe his colleague was like, yeah, these guys and this and that. And then he listened to something. He's like, fuck no. But but no, we actually have him rescheduled now. We've got at least one guest scheduled for the end of February on the 24th, which we'll start promoting in a week or so. But February wasn't good for him, so we're looking at March 24th. As we get closer, obviously, we're promoted again. Once again, Dr. Rob Kelly is going to join us, but it's going to be, a month and a half, almost 2 months away. So, But yeah, so now you're stuck with us guys, and I just got here. I got here today, and as soon as I walked in the door, Mike and I had a lot of stuff to talk about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, and here's the funny part. This reminds me of when we lived together, and especially when you were driving and you were gone for an extended period of time, and all these things that that had happened, and around the rooms and meetings and guys and all this different shit. So I used to do the same thing. But I mean, now we got all this other stuff going on. Typical life stuff that we talk about, but then we're still working on the web store. We got stuff for the podcast, and it's not that Mike and I don't talk every once in a while, but
Right.
I mean, really, when I'm out here is when we have the chance, usually just to sit down and just shoot the shit about everything that's going on. So, I think that I'll just say it again. I ran my mouth for almost an hour, and then we
The
went.
shit was shot.
The shit was definitely shot all over his living room. Oh, man. It's just, you got to wonder if somebody.
It's spacious, and so, we have plenty of room to throw that shit around.
Exactly. Yeah. If somebody happens to be listening to this just openly and somebody just walked in the room during that part of it and had no idea what we were talking about, that sounded terrible, and I'm pretty happy about that. So
yeah, exactly.
But then, went up and got some pizza and ate that and watched the end of the Simpsons. Was that a brand new one we were watching or new-ish?
No, they're old.
Yeah, but like we were talking about, I don't think either one of us has sat down and watched the Simpsons episode, at least not newer ones, over the last handful of years or maybe even 10 years. So
right, yeah. Well, my home group's Sunday night, so I don't get to watch it when they're live, and But I've been throwing it on. What is it? FXS, easy for me to say. It runs them all the time, so I've been catching up.
Well, and for a while it was on Netflix because Derek, and this was probably at least a handful of years ago, if not longer than that. Derek started watching it, so he and I would sit down and watch episodes. And on Netflix there was Family Guy we were watching, and they weren't like bleeping out any of the swear words and stuff like that on Netflix, which I think it actually almost took away from it by them not bleeping it, because that was almost the funniest part of it. Is when they bleep some of that stuff. But But yeah, so the end of the one episode, they were in Canada, and it kind of cracked me up because Lisa, one of the characters, is sitting on the edge of the river, and she had you saw the beer that she had. It was Molson's Junior, right?
Yep, Molson's Junior, mostly alcohol free.
Which, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that's just fucking funny, because we talk about alcohol-free stuff and what's in it and what's not. But, I mean, I suppose technically we'd look at somebody a little sideways if a kid was walking around, drinking something that was literally zero proof, but it just it made me laugh. So, but yeah, that was a whole tangent about lots of different stuff, Simpsons specifically, and throwing around shit. But we are here for a purpose. Friends of ours got the band. We were supposed to have the band. What was that? That was back in October, right? That Megan won. Yeah, won the band and stuff like that. So they're doing it tomorrow, and one of their kids' birthdays is tomorrow. So we get to hang out and do some sober shit. So it's cool.
We do hang out with the folks. Yeah.
Right.
They won a band in some fundraiser thing, because that's kind of what we do these days. Is we try to make things better for the world, and they were supporting some sort of charity and won a band for the night. So we get to go listen to them tomorrow.
And they play, from what I understand, and I saw the playlist. I didn't, give any input on the songs when it was like back in October, but it seems like they play a pretty wide range of stuff, right? I mean, from what I saw.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it should be fun. Like I said originally, if they stink too bad, we'll just go up there and beat them up and take their stuff.
Beat the shit out of them and then just play some cards.
Right. Yeah.
That'll work.
Yeah, exactly. I'm taking the drums, so.
Well, you never know that. Okay, well, here's the thing. If we do that and they have even a decent guitar, we're going to auction that off on one of our episodes. How's that?
I might keep that too.
Okay, then forget what I said. We're going to steal shit. Right. We're going to keep it. Never mind.
If it's a Gibson, I'll keep it. Otherwise, we'll auction it off.
All right. We're going to steal in the name of the recovery community then.
Yeah, right. Why not?
So, speaking of fundraisers and stuff like that, the night at the races is coming up for the Keating Center. That is, when is that again? March 18th.
Well, you know what? I have a flyer right here in front of me.
Awesome.
Didn't plan on it,
but well, and I meant to post that on Instagram the other day, just because it's a fun event and it's a Keating Center thing. But if you've got it in front of you, just read it off what it is, because we're actually sponsoring that too.
Yep. The Ed Keating Center presents Back on Track, a night at the races. It is March 18th from 5 to 10 p.m. at the UAW Hall, 5615 Chevrolet Boulevard. That's technically Cleveland, but kind of Brook Park-ish, Parma-ish, all around there. Most people don't care.
Right.
Yeah, $20 for a ticket. Gets you in, gets you corned beef, Reuben sandwiches, potato salad, and stuff to drink. Soft drinks.
Yeah, there will be no alcoholic beverages there. Stuff to drink does not
No,
mean we're not
well,
doing rail drinks or anything like that. So
no. Well, and it is recovery community, so I'm sure
right.
there'll be some idiot that sneaks something in, but
Right.
because I know I would have. Yeah, and Sober Not Mature, the podcast that you're listening to right now, we're sponsoring a race. Yeah, so good stuff, man. Yeah, that's about it. The rest of the stuff is buying horses, which we've already sold them all. So
Right.
that's taken care of. And yeah, we're just, if anybody in the Cleveland area needs a ticket, get hold of me. All my info's there on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing that, and I know we do have some, I'm sure we have some listeners that are from the Cleveland area or around the area,
Right.
but worst case scenario, and that we always make the point of saying that if you go to our website, the main website, SoberNotMature.com, and go to our sponsor page, the Keating Center is on our sponsor page, and there's a link directly to their website. Even if you can't make an event such as that, they do other things throughout the year. They're obviously, it's a sober living facility. They do accept donations, obviously, and it helps out the guys, the men and the women in the Cleveland area. It's where we got sober, and a lot of people that we know are still in there. We did. Our buddy Tony last week, his son right now is through the Keating Center. God, shit, everyone that we're going to be with tomorrow that went through the Keating Center? All of our friends?
Yeah.
Most of them, I would say.
Yeah. I right. There's, well, Al, he was around all before we got sober. So I think he went through Stella's, if I recall correctly. But yeah, other than that, pretty much everybody's a Keating person.
Yeah. So it's obviously, something that's very near and dear to our heart. And Mike brought it up. Mike's still part of the on the board for that. And he said, "Hey, do you want to sponsor a horse? We should do it for the podcast." And we're like, "Yeah, let's do that." So it gives us an opportunity to give back. Now that we're doing this thing, and obviously talk about it a little bit more openly than just us two guys saying, "Hey, we sponsored a horse."
Right.
What's the name of it?
We sponsored a race.
Oh, a race. Oh. Okay,
yeah.
So I thought, we got a horse with it though, right? So just
we
horse
got
for a race.
Yeah, exactly. We sold 90 horses, and but yeah, if you sponsor a race, you get a horse included with that. Yes, we did.
I got you. Okay, so that's it. And I misunderstood. We sponsored something and we got something, but we do have a horse. We have a name for our horse.
We have a name for our horse. The name of our horse is Mr. Horse.
And if anyone is not familiar with Ren and Stimpy, you need to look up Mr. Horse. You'll see it. And that was a joke of for both Mike and I for a long time. It just he's the no sir, I don't like it horse. And so we had a lot of fun with that over the years.
No sir, I don't like it.
Yeah, so that's the name of our horse, but yeah, it gives us the main point. It gives us a chance to give back, and like I said, hop on our main website, SoberNotMature.com, hit the sponsor page. They're accepting donations, and they're happy to receive them, and it goes to a good cause, a really, really good cause in the Cleveland area. So there. And speaking of another thing that helps out the recovery community, and we're going to continue to talk about Project Clean. Rory has not gotten me the write-up on it yet, but I'll give you the kind of the rundown again. And I brought some of the he sent us a box of soap, which I tried some. Our sister Kathy tried some. Mike, we gave him a bar of soap, obviously, to try out. And
I will be trying it out tomorrow.
He's gonna do a review on that, and both Kathy and I did, and then we're gonna see if some of our friends want to try it out too. But the point is that in Project Clean, we set up a page on our web store website with that, and it's for Project Clean. It clicks directly true.
True.
It's true. It is true.
Well, it's not false.
Right. It clicks directly through
Through.
to Project Clean's website. But look up Project Clean. We also follow them, and they follow us on Instagram. But our web store page is SoberNotMatureShop.com,
Mm-hmm.
and you can go right to their page and see their full mission. But the bottom line is 50% of all the net profits from any sales of the soap go to help out people and those in the recovery community. So it's we
Right.
were able to partner up with Rory and Project Clean and just have an opportunity to do some work with him and for
Mm-hmm.
him. And we're again happy to do it because he's got a great cause and a great mission. And I think again, hopefully next month. We'll have him back on soon.
Right.
I know that. But he's just got to get a
Mm-hmm.
couple of things in order, and then we'll have him back on. But so check out once again Project Clean or Project Clean Suds, depending on if you're looking on Instagram or looking online. And it's actually it's a great soap. I was really happy with it. It's very cool.
Now
So
I'm looking forward to having my ass smell wonderful tomorrow.
yeah, Mike can't wait just to shower tomorrow. See, this is the beauty of getting a little bit old and sober. It's like God,
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to use my new
I
soap.
can't wait to wash my ass.
All right, so I think we got all of our recovery community stuff out of the way. So let's get
Mm-hmm.
to the thing that we've been doing every week now. Do you have your books?
Right. I do.
All right, let's rock on with a reading with now a reading from Mike.
Hi there. All right, this is all as usual. This is from God Grant Me because it is my favorite meditation book, and this one's from yesterday, February 2nd. Freedom and responsibility are like Siamese twins. One without the other dies. Lillian Smith, whoever the hell that is. As we work a recovery program, we regain and experience freedom. Freedom from craving, freedom from shame, freedom from our self-centered desires, freedom to choose what type of people we will be. But with freedom and new choices comes responsibility. We're responsible for our sobriety. We need to get ourselves to meetings. We need to work the steps, not just talk about them in meetings. We call our sponsors and others from meetings who may need encouragement. We do our service work. Our program also tells us we're responsible for those who still suffer, for those who will come after us. We will conduct ourselves in a manner that would attract people to recovery. Prayer for the day. Higher power, thank you for setting me free. Help me to fulfill my responsibilities as a person and as a recovering person. Today's action says actions because this is a program of action. Today, I will have gratitude for the new freedom I have been given. I will spend 15 minutes thinking about and writing down my recovery responsibilities.
Did you count? I should have. How many times you said freedom in there? That was. I remember that reading clearly. That was
right.
yesterday, but
right. Several times, and pretty much every time the word freedom came up, the word responsibility came up.
Right.
Freedom ain't free, baby.
Yeah, that is true because and it just reminded me of two things that in the one story I already told when I was back in the Milwaukee area for the first time, and when I was working in Madison and drove up to grab my son and actually his practice and went to dinner and this and that, seeing all those liquor stores and then texting you and I was just like all the liquor stores and you said that you said enjoy the freedom, and it was that again the freedom that I didn't have to worry about which one was I going to go to, which one did I go yesterday, or even have to worry about the fact that I need to stop and get me some booze. But it also made me think about when getting freedom when, and this is nothing that I wrote down. It just kind of you inspired me, Mike.
Nice.
When we first started getting some freedom at the Keating Center, and I guess rather than I've got a specific story in mind, but then like two or three others just popped into my head. So when let's just and I'll throw it back on you first, I guess, because I always do. When do you think when we started to get some of that freedom, where was that point that you really felt, man, this is, I've got this freedom, and whether it made you nervous or whether it was cool or how you felt when you first started to get that freedom?
Well, actually, nervous. I do remember. It was well, let's see, end of April, so May, June. It was summertime, July at some point, and went out looking for women. Wait, no, looking for work. Yeah, that was it. LTF. LFW. That was it. Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus
And I
Christ.
wasn't, but it was.
No, I know.
I do remember the day. It was a beautiful sunny day, and I didn't have to go to groups, and I wasn't accountable. I walked out the door and walked out the gate and walked out onto the street, and I believe I went up to the library and got online and checked messages because didn't get to do that except on the weekends. And yeah, I remember, and of course, I walked past the Lido and I walked past the gas stations with the beer, and I'm going to use first air quotes of the show. I was free. And yeah, it was a little disconcerting. But I had done, I'd laid a little bit of foundation at that point, and I walked up to the library and did what I needed to do online, and I think I turned around and went back to the Keating Center. Didn't have to, but
Right.
didn't have anything else to do. What am I going to do? Wander the streets and get in trouble? I tried that before. It didn't work very well. Yeah, so that was I remember that, my first taste of freedom, and Christ, Marty kept us on a fairly short leash. I I remember I didn't really do LFW very long. That first week that I was like sort of off on my own, Marty kept setting up side jobs for me. So I worked, I think, 3 of the days. I remember I was going to do my third step, and I went to the zoo. It was free for Cleveland residents. The Cleveland Zoo is free on Mondays, and I went up to the zoo, and I was, I've never been to the Cleveland Zoo before, and I was like, gonna go check out whatever's creation and the natural wonder and all that happy crap, and do my third step. And I got up there and I wandered around for about a half hour, and my phone rang, and it was Marty. He said, "Get back here, I got work for you." So yeah, my freedom wasn't all that free, but that was good. I
Right.
didn't need too much freedom. So that's what comes off the top of my head, that first taste of freedom, of being able to kind of do what I want.
And I wasn't thinking about that part of it, when we first started looking for work, because I remember when,
Mm-hmm.
because Derek was in town. That was when I had the talk with him. That was during that time frame. And then Kathy took me to a couple of interviews, I know.
Mm-hmm.
But I had cousin Johnny's bike at the time. So I remember
Right.
me, Pete, Jeff had a bike. All of us
Mm-hmm.
used to ride up to like the bigger library that's a little farther away.
Yeah, in
And because
Lakewood, right.
they had a little bit of a bigger computer center area that you could
Mm-hmm.
usually get on. And I remember doing that, and almost, I didn't think about it until you were talking about this. Almost feeling like a kid riding a bike, down the street. Seriously, and like when I was a little
Right.
kid, and I used to ride my bike to wherever. I kind of felt
Right.
that way. But one of the things too that, and I do remember now that you mentioned that, those initial times going up to the store, going to the gas stations, doing all those different things, and
Mm-hmm.
literally just going out and just wherever I had to go, beeline, back and
Right.
forth, and there really wasn't the meandering type of thing. But what I used to do when I was working for the company in Rocky River, and this was after I got that car from
Mm-hmm.
Johnny,
Right.
on Saturdays, I would go down. There was a while there I was going down to Mom and Larry's on
Right.
both Saturday and Sunday, because it was nice out. We were still getting work done. It
Mm-hmm.
was in the fall, kind of getting
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff done. and they were, I think they used to go up to Erie and go gambling every once in a while. I think that's what it was. It was one of their gambling excursions. So they were
Uh-huh.
they were gone for the weekend, and I didn't need to go down there on Saturday, and
Mm-hmm.
I worked until noon. In the same deal, I walked out of the building, and I remember and this was probably September, but it was nice out
Right.
because I remember that
Mm-hmm.
warmth as I walked out of the building, and just again feeling weird because
Right.
I didn't have a place specifically to go,
Mm-hmm.
and got into my car, and again I felt that nervousness, that weirdness, because I knew what that it's that those memories, and we talk about this enough. A lot of people call these triggers. I don't think of it that way. I think
Mm-hmm.
of sounds, feelings, smells reminding me of what I used to do, which granted, a lot of people are like, that's a trigger, that's a trigger. Fine.
Right.
Call it what you will, don't care. I don't
Mm-hmm.
refer to it that way. I have these memories based on how I feel, what I smell,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. And that's what
Mm-hmm.
it was, because there was years that I worked on Saturdays, and afterwards either I'd hit the bar with the guys every once in a while, or
Right.
grab some beer and go home. Whatever the deal was, that was my thing,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I got my car, and I think I went to Best Buy. I went to some other computer store. I remember specifically, I went to Arby's and got lunch. And
Mm-hmm.
however much time that took was probably an hour, maybe hour and a half,
Right.
maybe 2 hours with whatever I was doing. And then I just didn't know what to do with myself. So I
Mm-hmm.
went back to the Keating Center. We were still living there
Mm-hmm.
in the 3-quarter dorm. I went
Right.
down, and fucking nobody's there, you
Right.
know? And I'm just like, fuck me. So I went downstairs into our dorm and I took a fucking nap
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know what to do. And then,
Right.
I probably slept for an hour or whatever it was, or maybe even dozed off. And then one of you guys came in, and then I'm like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that was our comfort zone. That the Keating Center was kind of like, not even kind of, it was a security blanket. It was just,
Sure.
it was there for us, which is
Absolutely.
amazing. And I seriously, I didn't think about that looking for work, because when I was interviewing downtown, the freedom, and also just the freedom of going downtown on the rapid
Mm-hmm.
and being
Mm-hmm.
downtown and all these business people and all this stuff, that used to make me nervous too. And I don't know why, but again, back in these settings where I'm back in, I don't know, in public.
Right. Yeah. Back out in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And and not, you know, without the crutch.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and so you walk through it, and you're a little nervous, and you get through it, and then you run back to the Keating Center.
And I mean, literally that's 100% what I did. But it was funny though
Yeah.
that I had looked, because I ended up getting these interviews for these little companies and little jobs down, again in downtown Cleveland, and
Mhm.
it wasn't that difficult. Rapid Station, Tower City, and then go to wherever I was going. Um,
Right.
and I remember I was down there. I had to go down there like a couple of days in a row or at different times, and so I got it in my head. I'm like, I wonder if there's a meeting down there, and
Mm-hmm.
there was. I found this. They had a noon lunch meeting. It was
Right.
it was at central office is where it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah. Right.
and it was a meeting for business professionals is what it was
Mm-hmm.
meant for. It didn't mean that not it, anyone could go in there, but the point was is
Sure.
that they did a 30-minute meeting. Somebody got
Mm-hmm.
up, they did a quick 15-minute lead, they had a quick conversation, and then people were out. And
Yep.
and I was dressed up because I was going to an interview, so it
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel, no better way to put it, made me feel fucking normal.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm around all these
Yeah.
fucking business people. They don't know that I'm basically fucking homeless. I'm a raging
Right.
fucking alcoholic. I'm barely sober. I have
Mhm.
nothing, nothing in
Right.
my life. And I'm sitting in there, and I was so fucking happy. I was so
Right.
happy just to be, it's that being part of again, and it was
Mhm.
just, it was cool,
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not doing it by yourself, because clearly we can't.
right.
Yeah. We need that little boost. We need that little 30 minutes to go in there and be with other people just like us.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, remember, God, it was probably 7 years ago or so now. I had jury duty down there. I was down there for 3 days, and yeah, first day down there, we got our lunch break. I went to central office because I knew there was a meeting there.
Really?
Turns out there was a lunch meeting in the Justice Center, which I found. I got a updated schedule when I was down at central office and went, oh shit! All I got to do is walk up this flight of stairs and there's a meeting. Yeah, so that's what I did the second day I was there.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
we're everywhere, folks.
Well, and that's the thing that and it's I know we've asked a question like when we talked to Ashley, we asked about where she's from in the area in the meetings and talked about the same thing with Christine and I mean Gretchen's got her has got her home group that she's gone to now for since she's been sober, but I know that just in talking to other people and even going to different areas that I haven't traveled a ton, but I've traveled enough, where there's been certain areas where not that you can't find a meeting, but it's not like it is around the Cleveland area. It's just like they're all over the fucking place, whereas when I remember when I was in Beloit, because the company I worked for out of Madison had that office in Beloit, and there was a meeting that was in walking distance of the first hotel I stayed in, and I went to that one a couple of times because they had me in the same hotel down there, and then I ended up moving to a different hotel on the other side of town, and at that point my days were stretching out. It was like a 5:30 meeting. It was I wasn't able to make it there on time, but it was only like specific things. It was harder to kind of find a meeting, within the time frames that I had available. But that's the beauty of the Cleveland area. And the other area that when I was in Florida with Courtney and them, but again, I mean, Florida's like like one of the rehab capitals of the fucking country. Right. So, I mean, there was meetings all over the place. It didn't matter. I went to a bunch of different meetings, kind of settled into this one club that I liked. I liked their format, and I used to go there every day. And then they had the Saturday and Sunday meetings there too. I mean, well, during the week, and then Saturday and Sunday morning meetings too.
Right.
And it was great, but I mean, they had certainly more of let's just call it a selection than a lot of areas. Probably still not, I don't even know, maybe still not as much as Cleveland, but there was a lot of meetings there.
It's pretty tough to beat Cleveland for the amount of meetings. Yeah. Well,
and you got to remember when we were like really newly sober, and I don't remember if people said it Leeds or in the groups we were in, but they'd always say that if you can't find a meeting in Cleveland, you're walking down the street with your eyes closed.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you can't find a meeting you like, because there's just so many of them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you just can't find a meeting, you could fall down and you're going to be in a meeting.
Pretty much.
But yeah, even to find one you like. And there was, out of all the meetings maybe that's another question I never thought about. Is there any, and I don't want to necessarily call out the meeting in particular, but did you ever run across a meeting in Cleveland that you're like, there's no fucking way I'm ever going back to that one?
No. Yeah. I mean, there's certainly ones that are better than others. There are some that are really long for no damn reason. But yeah, no, there's never a meeting I went to here that I said I'm never going back to this one. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and I don't think in the Cleveland area, Kathy and I went to, and this was just popped into my head as we were talking. So we were at Mom's, and of course, Mom was in Medina, at the time, and whatever it was. I remember it was during the summertime, and I was down there for the weekend, and Kathy was in town. And I'm like, hey, I said, I want to try to hit a meeting. I said, there's one up in North Royalton. It's not that far away, So I said I was going to shoot up there, and Kathy's like, is it open? And it was. So she's like, I'll go with you. And then Mom's like, how long's the meeting? When do you get me back for dinner? Blah, blah, blah. Because they were going to plan, obviously, I think Larry was, whatever it was, doesn't matter. That sounded bad.
I knew what you meant.
Of course. I don't know. Just as I say
it's irrelevant to the story.
Right. Thank you. Because then I felt bad saying it, so, well, now Mom's gone. Now Larry's gone.
I know.
Just like I didn't mean it that way. But anyhow. So, and it was just an hour long meeting, it's just from X to X. So Kathy and I shoot up there and we walk in, and it's, it's in, again, in North Royalton, which, decent enough town. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. So we go in, and it was a lead meeting, and it's like, I remember specifically that they were supposed to have a lead, and then somebody had to fill in because a person couldn't make it. And the guy, I don't remember if he was a male or female. Let's just say the guy gets up there and he's like, "Oh, I wasn't planned on this. I don't know how long I'm going to." And you know what happened next?
Yeah,
is it?
he went on and on and on.
Yeah. So here's a funny part for anyone who's never been to a 12-step meeting or doesn't know what we're talking about. Usually, I can say usually, if somebody gets up and says, "I don't like to give a drunk-a-log," they give a long one, which is all their war stories and everything else. That's what their lead's about. Or if somebody says, "I usually don't talk long," or "I have no idea what I'm going to talk about," usually they'll, again, like Mike just said, on and on. So the lead went for, I think, almost the full hour, and
Nice.
at that time I was conditioned to Cleveland meetings where even in most cases, who do you know is a shorter one, but anyone goes longer than 30 minutes, any place, people are rolling their eyes,
Yep.
for the most part. So after that, and then this group, and they were such a nice group, the super nice people, but all of them must have known the person clearly that was up there. So fucking everyone's commenting. And these comments are going on and on and on. And then I think even before the lead was done, this was funny. I've been sitting there for a fucking hour. I told Kathy, I said, I'm going to go take a leak real quick. So I go back and the lead's done by the time I get back. I wasn't gone that long, but I finished up. And apparently while I was gone, they kind of did their whole wrap up. Okay, anyone new? Anyone, want to introduce themselves? Anyone new to the program? And, Kathy's just sitting there, and apparently everyone, and there was maybe 20 people there, so small-ish room. Apparently everyone's sitting there fucking staring at her, and she's just feeling just super fucking uncomfortable. And by the time I walked back into the room, they just went on, and she's telling me about this later. I'm like, that's fucking hilarious. But then they're commenting. We're sitting there for like another 20 minutes, and finally I'm like, man, we got to fucking go. So we walk out. And that was the only meeting that I said that I would never go back to, just because I'm like, everything they didn't. Maybe it's just because what I was used to. If this is the format, and this is the meeting, then keep it to this. It's just they didn't say that. I've been around meetings before when they're like, "Yeah, this one. Well, we know one. What's the one out east side that can go for 2 hours or longer?" Newburgh.
Yep.
Which and they have no problem whatsoever. Being known for the fact that they just go on for fucking ever. But people. People go to it. People get up at. We've seen leads before, and they get up to. Person gets up and they're like, "Yeah, Newburgh's a home group," and I was like, "Oh my god, really?" Then we're like, "We're in for it. We're fucking in for it, man."
Yep, we're doomed. Strapped in. We're not going anywhere.
Right, but in general, I know. My first question was, or initial question was about any meetings that you wouldn't go back to. I think that was the only one, and it was just that I didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel like I got. It didn't need to be that much, and maybe I was just conditioned. Maybe today it wouldn't be a big deal, if I had the time.
Right.
So I don't know.
Hey. Yeah.
So anyhow, so back to the reading and the freedom thing. So anything more on that? Any other times that after that it's just kind of come into your own type of thing. I don't remember anything else, but do you? Any other times? Freedom?
No. But I do want to reiterate the responsibility part. Freedom isn't free, man. There's stuff that we have to do to maintain the freedom, just like the sobriety, just like anything else good in our lives. We have to put the work in. Otherwise, we don't get the rewards.
Right. Yeah. And it's, all this stuff is, and we've talked about it a number of times, and I think it's, definitely worth repeating is that, you have to earn this thing, not just once, you have to earn it all the time.
Yep, on a daily basis.
Because what do we have to do? What do we get, Mike? A daily what?
Reprieve, contingent upon the maintenance of our spiritual condition.
I know you love. I love the saying too, but I know you love it probably maybe even more than I do. So, but yeah,
it is my absolute favorite passage in the big book.
Yeah, and if I asked you what page it was on, you wouldn't know, and I wouldn't know either. So
I couldn't tell you.
Once again, not big book thumping people over here. So we're good. Nope. First of all, I thought that was a great reading, and when I read that, I think I might have. I don't even remember now. There's like 4 different things I read. I might have posted something about that on. That might have been my Instagram post yesterday morning or part of it. So that's good. Definitely a good
Nice.
reading. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it was dog-eared from before, and I went,
really?
oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I said, man, half this book is, well, not half, probably a solid quarter of it is dog-eared from doing groups.
Right.
Yep.
Well, again, after what, 6, 7, 8 years of doing it? Or is it maybe
yeah,
longer
8,
than that?
maybe 9. Yeah. Long fucking time.
All right. So, yeah, you know what? I think it is. I think it's about that time. Do you wanna take a little 60-second? Well, for us now, I'm sorry. Now it's a 2-minute break because Mike and I decided to talk for 2 minutes when we did our promo.
Right.
So it is a
right.
It's now a 2-minute break. So.
Well, good. I get to channel Chuck Woolery. We'll be right back in 2 and 2.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature.
Hi there.
And yes, it's both of your friends this time. Hi Mike, how are you?
I'm well. How are you, Bill?
I am doing well, but we do have a purpose. We actually usually talk about our one website, but we actually have 2 websites now. So
2.
2 websites in one. All right, so everyone knows we still have the podcast website that is www.SoberNotMature.com. And we just launched the store website, so we also have that. Do you know what the website address is on that one, Mike?
Of course I don't.
It's pretty easy, Mike. It's www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. So but from the podcast website, you can still hit the store link and get into the web store, or you can access it from our Instagram page through the highlights. We've been posting quite a bit about it, and we'll continue to do that. But do you know what's on the second website, Mike?
Well, there's a store. There are products that you can purchase for you and your loved ones.
Well, Mike, do we still have merchandise?
We have merchandise. Well, we got T-shirts and coffee mugs and all kinds of crap.
And one of the coolest parts, we also do have all the recovery books from Hazelden, which is kind of a big deal.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, at least for us. So all the books that we read, God Grant Me, 24 Hours, the Big Book, the 12 and 12, all of those books are available for sale on our website. And again, that store website is www.sober.
Trying to help, man.
I know you are. You're not helping, though. Okay, now I got to say www.SoberNotMatureShop.com. .com. Visit that today, or visit the podcast website, which is, again, the podcast website. So
www.SoberNotMature.com.
Did you just say sober but not mature?
Yeah, sure. Write that down.
Yeah, like fucking mush mouth or something. All right, everyone. You've suffered enough with this, and we'll get back to what we were talking about previously. So visit the websites, though. All right. Welcome back. Painful as always.
Right?
I tell you, man, because I listen to all of our episodes because it's I just think it's 9 times out of 10, literally every episode there's something in there that I'm like, wait, I said that, or you said that? And I don't remember it. So, but especially when we have a guest, I want to make sure I listen to it, but I do anyhow. I listen to all of them, but listening to that promo it just cracks me up every single time. So, so I had another thought, and I was going to kind of bypass it this month simply because we were going to have obviously you're supposed to have a guest on today, but would you want, and I guess one way or the other, it's beginning of February. Do you want to talk about the second step, since it's the second month, at least bring up what it is and have a little conversation about that?
I suppose we could do that.
And while I was talking, and this just proves, everyone out there, I just proved I could do 2 things at once. I was speaking, and I was actually looking up the second or the 12 steps on my phone. So I have to be honest though. When I first typed in the first, I'm like, what the fuck is that? That wasn't That wasn't AA 12 steps.
Mm.
All right. So
What was it?
I just came up with a bunch. I looked at the thing and it's like, did you mean that? I'm like, no, I did not. I didn't mean that.
No, I did not. No. Yeah.
So,
well, the reading I read was the 2nd of February. So all I had to do is turn back one page in my book, and there's the second step.
oh, okay. Well, good. Since you're our reading guy, then let's go ahead and go ahead and read the step.
All right. Well, step 2 came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
So, we talked about obviously the higher power and things like that, and I think we've I don't want to say beaten that to death, but we've talked about it enough where
we have.
I think everyone realizes that you're again agnostic. You believe in a force, and don't let me put words in your mouth. I mean, that is the force.
No,
right?
I'm an atheist.
What did I say?
You said agnostic. You're an agnostic. I'm an atheist.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, I apologize. Let's start over. Mike, what is your affiliation?
I have none.
Okay, there you go. So you are an atheist. God damn, why did I call you an agnostic?
I don't know.
But
whatever.
So explain yours is feeling of you again, explain it better. It's more of a force than a thing, right?
Yeah, well, power greater than myself. As I've always said, there's no intelligence behind it. These are my beliefs, kids. The opinions expressed by me are mine.
That's our disclosure for the episode.
That's right. Right. But there are powers greater than me. There are. Alcoholics Anonymous is a power greater than myself. The Ed Keating Center is a power greater than myself. Love is a power greater than myself. I've got lots of them, some that I keep to myself because they're mine. But, I have come to believe that powers greater than myself will restore me to sanity, and not insanity in the sense that I'm crazy and I'm seeing things and I'm hearing things and all that. No, the insanity that I can drink and use and get away with it in any sense, and I can't. Powerless. First step. Haha.
Wait, you mean these things work together?
They're in order. Imagine that.
Hang on.
So you got to do that first one before you get to the second one.
Hang on.
You got to do the second one before you get to the third one.
Hang on 1 second. Do steps in order? And you said
yes.
They're
numbered. Right there for us.
Oh shit, they're numbered, and they come together. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay. All right. Good.
And that was the best. And they're numbered. Oh.
Wow. And the sarcasm meter just broke the needle.
But the one thing that it was funny, and I don't remember this being any sort of an issue for me, but I've read things, heard things, had people say it in meetings, leads, discussions, that the insanity thing, kind of turned people off. I don't remember ever having a problem with that. I didn't think I was like mentally deranged, if that my
right,
like you just said, seeing things or whatever. I didn't think I had a true diagnosed mental issue.
Right.
But the shit that I did was fucking nuts.
Right.
the way that I thought was fucking nuts. My perception of life and like you just said, the powers that are greater than you, my life, love, the people around me, the people that cared about me. I don't know, where my anger was directed, everything. It was fucking nuts. There's just no better way to put it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they lock you up if you're a danger to yourself or others. And we were definitely a danger to ourselves and others.
Right.
Yeah. That's insane.
Right. Well, and I look back and just and I talked about this before, but what I had to do, and for whatever amount of time in the morning just to get my contacts in, I and this is, I think about this now. I don't know why I just didn't skip to the whiskey every fucking time, but I would always try to drink a beer, and
Sure.
I don't know why, because I'm fucking, well, was, okay, I was more nuts than I am now.
And I know exactly why. Because we're rationalizing to ourselves, well, I'm not hitting the whiskey. I'm just having a beer. I don't have a problem.
Right. I'm drinking a beer at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
basically gagging it or
But
throwing
I'm
it back
not
up.
drinking the whiskey. Yeah, but I'm not drinking the whiskey. So therefore, I'm okay.
But until I had to drink the whiskey to even myself out,
Well,
it was
yeah.
just,
Sure.
but you take a look at that and, disillusioned, delusional, nuts, insane. How can anyone, if I walked into the bathroom of anyone, I don't even care who it was, it could be somebody I didn't know at all, and if they were
Right.
pounding a beer, throwing it up, and then shooting some whiskey, 4 or 5 shots, whatever it took, and then putting in their contacts like nothing was going on and went on with the day, I'd be like, the fuck's wrong with you, man?
Right.
I mean, well, these days I know what's wrong with them, but
yeah, we know, right? Exactly. Yeah, right. If you were a normal person, and you saw that, you're like, something's not right here.
Right.
This is not kosher.
So do you, and again, something I don't think we've ever talked about that just popped into my head. Do you know when, any recollection of when you started to drink in the morning, or I'll say first time, but I don't know if anyone, or maybe you can. Do you remember if you ever remember taking that first drink in the morning, figuring that it would help, or when you did?
Well, I may have talked about this in my story.
Did you?
I was never a maintenance drinker. I wasn't, well, I mean, when I came to, when the alarm made me get up in the morning, I still had half a tank from the night before in my system. But yeah, no, I was the definition of phenomenon of craving. Once I started, I didn't stop.
Okay.
And I knew that about myself. So the days I did go to work, or when I was actually working a job and going 5 days a week, I couldn't. If I took a drink, I didn't stop until I was passed out.
Right.
So, and I knew that about myself. I did have that much awareness, whatever the fuck that was worth. Right. So, I mean, no, there were plenty of times where I woke up, leaned over, and grabbed a drink. I just knew that I wasn't doing anything else but that.
Right.
Yeah. No, if I had to go and make some money to get a drink, which is why I was going to the job, to make money so I could continue to drink.
Right.
Yeah. No, I was never a maintenance drinker. I couldn't. I was never, I'll take a shot and then I'll take another shot the next hour and keep myself even. I couldn't do it.
Right.
Never could. Nope.
Yeah. See, and for the life of me, I mean, I don't remember when I started it. I don't remember the first time. And I do remember, looking back now, I mean, I know I needed it, but I remember thinking that I was just doing it because I mean, fuck it. I mean, that's why we drink. I love being buzzed, right? I don't know that there was a point when I knew, that I needed it, but I never admitted the fact that I needed a drink in the morning, but I knew I did, because I mean, the contact story, it's, I mean, so fucking obvious. I mean, my hands shook so goddamn bad, I couldn't put contacts on my eyes.
Right.
I wasn't doing it just because I felt, hey, let's get a good buzz on right now.
Right. Oh yeah. Right. Yeah.
But
and that's why heroin was so great, because I take a shot of heroin in the morning, then I can go for several hours and not,
right.
Or do a big line of speed in the morning and get myself going. Woohoo. The drugs were different for me in that fact that I could do some drugs and function and not need to do them again instantly. With alcohol, always, well, I mean, the last 20 years of it, alcohol, it was, if I started drinking, I didn't stop until I was passed out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I, and I, quite honestly, I don't remember that from from your story. I don't remember hearing
Yeah,
that
I
part of
may
it,
not
but
have, but yeah, that is. I was never a guy that woke up in the morning and drank a bit to get myself going.
right.
I couldn't. I just couldn't. If I started drinking in the morning, I was drinking till I went down. There's definitely no work involved.
Well, and I had done it at other places, but definitely the last place that I worked, which would have been from uh, November of November-ish, I think, of 2009, and then
Mm-hmm.
obviously until I hit detox on April 17th. But that place, I never literally I went to my interview buzzed. I never I never drew a sober breath at that company, and
Right.
I didn't have booze inside the you know the building with me or in a
Mm-hmm.
bottle or anything like that with me. But
Mm-hmm.
I worked literally like 5 minutes away, and I would again get up. I drink in the morning, do my thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
fill up a 7 Up bottle, 7 Up and whiskey, and I
Mm-hmm.
would drink half of that on the way to work. Then I'd go home for lunch, drink the other half, maybe have a sandwich, and then drink beers while I was there. Fill up that bottle
Mm-hmm.
again, drink half on the way back to work, and then half when I came home. So, but in looking back now, and I remember, as it got close to lunch and it got close to the end of the day, is when I started
Mm-hmm.
to get, how those warm sweats are,
Oh yeah.
the withdrawals, that shit that's
Mm-hmm.
going on with you. Yeah, I
Yep.
would start to get that, and that's that withdrawal shit. So, yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's no doubt. Yeah, I get. I don't remember when it just again as we're talking about this, it kind of popped into my head, and I'm like, I don't remember when it started, but man, it was fucking bad for the last 6 months or five or whatever it was, and that.
Right.
And still, for the life of me, there's no way for me to pinpoint when I started to have to do that with my contacts either, So I don't know. I don't know. But
Yeah.
on a weekend, I was I if I had nothing better to do, I was one of those. I could easily be one of those guys, like you said, maybe not, drink until I was done, but I'd drink until I'd nap,
Mm-hmm.
get back up, and
Mm-hmm. Right.
maybe go do my
Mm.
grocery shopping or whatever if it was a Saturday or Sunday, and then
Right.
hit it for the rest of the night. But it's
Oh yeah. Well, I used to joke. I'd call it turning one day into three. Mm-hmm. Wake up first thing, get drunk, pass out, crash for 3, 4, or 5 hours, get back up, drink until I passed out, crash for 3, 4, 5 hours, get up, drink till I pass out. Yep.
That is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's healthy.
Right. Well, hey, you
Yep.
get more days out of your day, though, right?
That's right. Yep. I will show the world I'm better than everybody. I'll take this one day off and turn it into 3.
You just had a 3-day weekend on a Monday.
Yep.
It's funny. I was watching the one of the playoff games on Saturday, and I was actually doing some work on the website. I just kind of had it on in the background, but I had thought about this, and it just made me think about when you just said, drinking until you're done. I
Mm-hmm.
remember the apartment that I lived in before Dawn and I got together. So this would have been from 90, call it 96 through 99 area, something like that, I believe. Because Dawn and I moved in, I
Yep.
think, like June of 90. I don't know, whatever, 99. But anywhere within that 3-4 year period, I remember sitting down on a Sunday, and if the Packers played at noon, I would
Right.
literally think to myself, I'm like, man, I got to pace myself here because it's fucking noon.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew a lot of, I mean, I wouldn't obviously at that, I don't want to say obviously, but at that point, I wasn't drinking during the day or anything like that during the week. But when I got home, I
Mm-hmm.
drink until in the same deal. I knew I could drink a certain number of beers, and I had to stop at a certain point. So again, these are logical fucking thoughts that I'm having in the
Mm.
mid to late 90s. Well, let's call
Right.
them late 90s, but still, we didn't get sober until when? you know, yeah.
2010.
So for a long fucking period of time, I got these at least 10 years. Back from that, I got these thoughts in my head. But and the other thing I would treat myself anytime there was on every Sunday, I'd buy like a 6 pack of Corona because I used to, I like
Mm.
Corona, so I would fucking drink all of it, obviously. And then
Right.
I would always
Well,
have
yeah.
my quote unquote normal beer, which whatever it was. But yeah, I remember that starting at a noon football game like that. I would have that conscious thought that I would have to think to myself, I'm like, man, I got to pace myself. I'm going to fuck myself up if I start, hitting it fucking hard at
Right.
noon,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and people have it. Well, you and I didn't, I guess, but and to think that we could have had a question as far as whether or not we were insane, right?
Right.
Because that's where this whole conversation started from, is the insanity part of it. But
Right.
but I mean, the second part of that too, or the beginning part of that is restoring us. So does that mean we were we were ever sane?
Well, no, yeah, okay, fine. That's the words they used, restored. That's the assumption that we were
Right.
sane to begin with. And, but okay, so I wasn't restored. I was brought to sanity
Right.
by doing this thing.
Right.
Yeah. That's the way I like to look at it. Yeah, I was all fucked up before I started drinking and doping, but yeah, now I'm reasonably sane, I guess.
Right. Well, again, like Kathy said in the episode she came on, I'm the same fucking guy. I just don't I just get different breath. Although she didn't say
Right.
that. She didn't say those words, but
Right.
you did.
Uh-huh.
You just clarified. So he's the same asshole as he used to be. I'm just not fucking drunk anymore. That's all.
Right.
But
yeah, well, I'd like to think we're a little bit better than we were before.
Right. But the funny part, like when you said, again, with the whole sanity thing and being not necessarily stored, but given, again, reformed or given new whatever, there was, and I know we heard it very early on. Somebody said in a meeting, I'm pretty sure it was in a lead, where you hear a lot of people say that AA or these steps or my sponsor or just recovery and sobriety, gave me my life back. And I remember the guy
Right.
saying that he goes, this didn't give me my life back. He goes, I don't want that shit anymore. He goes,
Right.
sobriety allowed me to have a brand new life, a whole new one, a fresh and shiny new one.
Yep,
And-
absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I remember that, and man, I believed it. I kind of I
Mhm.
strive for that, because I didn't really, the more and more we got into this, this whole thing, and whenever it happened, I have no idea, but I realized that I didn't want to just, I don't know, clean up the old car that was sitting out there. I kind of want a new one,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want any of that garbage anymore. I like this new stuff that I have, this new outlook on life, this new way to live.
Right.
Yeah.
No putting a lipstick on a pig. We want a whole new animal.
Yep.
But yeah, so that was interesting though, and I you know what, I wasn't really sure how, because especially step 2 is fucking simple. Even that reading that you read was pretty fucking simple, but kind of we don't say this very often, but that shit had some pretty deep meaning, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
Clearly, for the amount of time we went on talking about basically a reading in the second step, but yeah, I mean, obviously good stuff. So anything else about the second step? Were you at all? And I know we talked about the first step and, the things that you were, we were both nervous about. Anything that second step made you nervous or hesitant about at all, or?
No. I mean, well, other than the implication that it's God doing it. But that's the third step. We'll get to that next month.
Right. Well,
this one, not so much, again, and the phrasing is in the second step that I like the most: power greater than myself. Right. Not God, not higher power, not just something greater than me, whatever that is. And that's, again, pretty damn low bar. If I really think about it, that's why I did my fourth step, because I had to really think about it. Yeah.
Well, and we have talked about the same thing, that and I guess going back to the freedom, the word freedom, the freedom for anyone who chooses to be sober and chooses to use something or have something like that. People aren't pigeonholed into it has got to be, has to be a God thing, or it has to be this thing, or it has to be that
Mhm.
thing. You know, AA, even as structured as it is, you know, in many ways,
Mhm.
and is, because I know a lot of people, you know, they shy away from 12-step programs because they think it's, you know, it's too structured and you have to do it this way and have to do it that way. But I
Mm.
think one of the biggest backbones of AA is the fact that, you know, not only suggestions, but also giving that, again, that freedom to choose whatever it is. Just realize it's not you, which I think is awesome. You know,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the structure's there, but it's like we said before, it's a wide
right,
structure. Like the 12 and 12 says, man, that hoop is a lot bigger. That hoop we have to jump through is a lot bigger than we think it
right,
is. But we do have to jump through the hoop.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the funny part too is that by the time that, well, just kind of stepping back with the whole Keating Center thing, and I know we brought this up before, and I'm going to try to break myself of saying we brought this up before, because just
Mm.
fucking assume that it, if you listen to us, if you've anything you're listening to now, more than likely we've
Hmm.
said it before, whether it's been
Right. One way or
yeah,
another.
whether it's been on, you know, and into a microphone during this podcast. Quite honestly, I don't
Hmm.
fucking know. I know that the
Right.
majority of 99% of the things that come out of this guy's mouth here, Mike's heard. But
Hmm.
the beautiful part about that is that we tolerate each other's stories now more, I think, because we realize that it could be beneficial to somebody else.
Exactly.
um, but the whole thing with the Keating Center is that we were, during the time in there, during the halfway period, the group period and stuff, we were only
Hmm.
allowed, and this is the structure they gave us, to work steps one,
Hmm.
2, and 3. But we're supposed to,
Right.
you know, have a sponsor and work through those, you know, again with another person, have somebody guide us through those.
Hmm.
But like Mike said, they're fucking numbered. Which
Yep.
just scratched me when you said that. I mean, it's just so fucking obvious. I mean, and I know it, but the way you said that, I'm like, that's fucking great. So
Yep.
by the time you get to the second step, and I think by the time I have to figure, by the time I did, I accepted the higher
Mm.
power thing. I accepted the powerless thing. So step two, once
Hmm.
again, this is all that, it's this building block thing, right? You know, so
Right.
if I think if people do them in whatever time they need, because there's no, we've established that it was established for us, there's no
Hmm.
time frame for this stuff. You don't have, like,
Right.
you know, 37 days to work step one and then 27 days to work step two. It's not a competition, you know. But
Right.
I would hope, and I must have been, because I don't remember having any problem whatsoever with any of the steps, with the exception of the fourth and fifth being fucking nervous. But I
Hmm.
don't really, I didn't have an objection to any of the steps. Maybe that's a better way to put it. I don't remember having an objection
Right.
to anything.
Hmm. Right. And I do want to point out, yes, we were supposed to focus on the first three steps when we were halfway. But I want to point out that I work those first three steps every day before I get out of bed. It's not like I did those steps almost 13 years ago and I don't do them anymore. I do them every day.
Right.
I've got to admit my powerlessness. I've got to remember that there are powers greater than myself that are going to keep me sane. Yeah. Yeah. Every day, man. I got to remind myself because I will forget. Yep. I work those steps every day.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I didn't mean to kind of brush over that fact, but yeah,
Mm.
that's one thing that was drilled into my head by our sponsor Joe, when I thought I had, again, second air
Mm-hmm.
quotes, had
Mm-hmm.
completed steps 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
I think that, I mean, in the opening, the prayers that I do in the morning
Mm-hmm.
cover steps 1, 2, and 3 for me. You
Right.
know, every
Right.
day. And like you said, you do it before you get out of
Mm-hmm.
bed. I get up, do this and that. I do
Right.
my readings, and then I do the prayers. I do a couple of readings, then the prayers, and then finish up my readings. And I do I don't know when I started doing it, but I wrap up my whole process in the morning with the 7-step prayer. And I've
Mm-hmm.
done that for years, and I can't remember. I don't know
Right.
why I started it. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
Probably someone suggested it to you.
Right. But I'm not gonna stop. I
Yeah.
guess again, like we were talking about last week, I don't want to take something
Mm-hmm.
away. What if that's
Nope.
the finger in the dike, as they say? It's a reading, folks. Don't get pissed off. Finger in the dike is from a reading.
Right. And it's also a very old story about a little boy who has his finger in a dike in Holland.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. We're talking about a brick wall that's holding back water, just so everyone's aware. That's what we're referring to. But anyhow, so but yeah, that was my point though. It's just I don't remember having any objection to any of the steps. I mean, I know they were daunting when we first looked at them. I'm sure they were.
Sure.
You know, I think they are for everyone. You know, I don't know. I can't speak for anyone else, but I know that the thought and the process was daunting. But I don't remember objecting to it, which is weird to me now.
Well, that's right. But I think that's, you know, there's your reason why people relapse. I object to that step. I'm not going to do it.
You know, that's
okay. Let's see how that works out for you.
Yeah, that's a good point, you know, because again, I know that I'll openly admit it again, because I've openly admitted this plenty of times when you've been in earshot of it. I'm not perfect. I don't want to shock everyone.
Wait, I need to write that down. Bill's not perfect.
Did you write that down with your Sober Not Mature pen? Yeah, Mike's now.
I did.
Mike now has a Sober Not Mature pen.
I do. And you can have one too if you go to our website, www.SoberNotMatureShop.com.
Look at you doing your homework and actually knowing what our fucking you won't even, well, maybe you will believe, but you can imagine as you start doing that. I stopped for a minute like E.F. Hutton going, is he gonna say it? Oh, look at that.
Is he gonna do it right? Is he gonna get it right? He's gonna fuck it up.
But yeah, I mean, now since we're on that, so here's the thing, and I want to give a little shout out to my daughter on these pens. So if you go on our website, I mean, on the web store, again, Sober Not Mature Shop, we do have the Sober Not Mature pens. There's 5 of them for $9.95, and my daughter works for a company that does printing and all these promotional things. So it's my daughter's company that did these pens and did the bracelets for us. So I mean, quite honestly, I'm proud of the fact of where they came from, because I mean, the company she works for, and the process and the customer service and everything else was just it was fucking unbelievable. And I told them that because they had apologized for something. I forget what it was, which it wasn't even anything that they did wrong, in my opinion. But so they're cool, and I brought some along with me because we're gonna obviously give Mike one. I'm gonna give his girlfriend Chris one, and then we're gonna take some to our get together tomorrow. Give them to some of our friends. So, but no, it's just I don't know. And they are good pens. I use them now. I have one of them that I grabbed one that I use all the time, and it's a decent pen. But on top of it, it's just for a non-shame. We're not even shamed at all. It's a plug. It's an easy and cheap way to support the podcast. Also with your very own pack of 5 Sober Not Mature pens. Buy now.
Right.
So what were you writing down? I can't even remember something that I wasn't.
Yeah, you're not perfect.
Okay. Yeah. No wonder I forgot it.
Yeah, of course. You're not going to remember that.
Right. But I didn't even know what my point was with saying and admitting that I wasn't perfect.
I don't know. Well, I'm just glad you did.
Right. But I know what you were talking. You're talking about people objecting to it, not staying sober. So the thing of it is, and I mean, granted, in all seriousness, that there's certain things and I know Mike, can probably admit to it too, that both of us have done over the years, and looking back thinking, fuck man, that was outside of what sober. I mean, so in the time, almost 13 years that we've been sober, that either we've swayed to this direction or done this or acted this way, and we're like, God damn, that's not how we should have acted, and maybe we didn't respond to it the right way, or maybe looking back now you're like, damn, I was swaying in this direction. If I would have kept going that way, maybe I would have relapsed. Who knows? And it's scary to look back on, but it's something that I try to, if I have those thoughts, man, I try to literally look at myself in the mirror and be like, dude, are you fucking doing this now too?
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a process, Yeah. of course I'm going to fuck up. Okay, guess what? Put this in parentheses next to Bill's not perfect. Neither's Mike.
Oh, wait a second. Mike's
Right?
not. Yeah, shit. Why are we admitting all this fucking stuff on like an open microphone? God damn it.
Because we have to.
Yeah, fuck. And you know what's going to happen? People are going to start fucking with me on Instagram now, going, "Oh, you're not perfect. You're not perfect."
Good.
Yeah, no,
yeah. Right. Good. Thank you.
Right.
But lay it on me, man. Point it out. That's why we can't do this by ourselves, because left to my own devices, I will rationalize and justify anything.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and like the fact that we were kind of joking about that, people calling us out, but the one thing that's that is nice, and I think, and I hope, and any of our family, I know obviously our sister Kathy listens to this, and she's probably clearly physically the closest one to me right now, because I'm living in her home. But I mean, she and I we've always been close, but I mean, certainly since I got sober, and so she's around me all the time. Chris is around you all the time. So you figure that two individuals, and even when I was up in Wisconsin, I saw Derek, maybe not every weekend, but every couple of weekends at the worst. And I'd see Dawn and I'd see Corey, and so these people that are around us on a regular basis, I hope, and I'll just say I would demand that if you feel something is wrong with us, say something, because I mean the thing of it is, so two things, and it just popped into my head that the individual close to us that had relapsed. I mean, nobody saw anything with that individual, but if I know that if I would have, or if you would have, I sure as fuck would have said something. I never thought about it.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we mentioned meetings. That the individual wasn't doing that, but I really hope and pray that somebody would have I think they would, but I hope they would be able to come up to us and say, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything good?" Anything like that. I just say something, man.
You're acting like a fucking asshole. What's going on?
Right. And
more than usual.
I knew that was coming. So you're normally a 6. You're about a 7 or an 8 lately. Yeah. What's going on?
Yeah, you're getting close to a 9. What the fuck, man?
keep it around. Keep it around a 6, 7, 6.5. You're good. I'll leave you be.
5.5, 6. I hope.
5.5, 6. But yeah, I mean, I would hope so too.
I get up over 6, man. Yeah, there's a problem.
Well, and there's been plenty of times that I've gone to. It could be a number of people, and we talk about that, the whole 10-step, and making that, when we were wrong, right? And. And I know since I've been down in Indiana, I figure for now, 7 months, when Mom was still alive, there was a couple of times I apologized to her, and a couple of times she said, "Thank you, I appreciate it." So clearly I was a dick to her, and a couple of times she's just like, "No, it's okay." It's just, I thought something was wrong. But I explained myself what my deal was, I know I've said something like that to Kathy and whatever, I've said it to my kids over the years. But,
sure,
so it's one thing for us to do it, but that means we recognize it. But if we're not recognizing it.
Right. Yeah. Then we're doing the work, and we catch ourselves, which is the whole point. Yeah. If it starts getting to the point where somebody else has to point it out to us, that's the problem.
Right. But yeah, I mean, I welcome it, because and I'll just say this 100% openly, if somebody comes to me and asks me something like that and I'm not receptive to it, then something is wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just gave it. I gave away. That's my tell. If I object, if I get defensive or anything like that, then something really is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Then call Mike. Call Mike.
Right.
He's going to call me. He told me to drive my car into an abutment.
I am.
What's funny is I'm looking at the time, but I'm also looking at my list. I had I wrote nothing new on here except for talking about the second step. There was never mind. There was a question we had from one of our listeners. We can get to that next week. But we got.
I mean, we got. Okay.
You want to go to the next one?
Either way.
Okay. Well, let's do this one. Okay.
Well, I mean, if we've got a question from a listener.
Well, and I had posted it up on Instagram also, but yeah, let's do that. Hang on one second here.
Let's do that. They don't fucking put it off, man.
Okay. Sorry about that.
They might not be around. We might need to say it this week.
Okay. And you know what? Kind of some of the stuff we might have talked about, which is kind of funny. So the question, this came in I always put on the bottom of our Spotify. It only shows up on Spotify, but it's a Q&A thing. What would you like us to talk about? Give us your suggestions, something like that. So this was from, and it just popped up in an email from a couple weeks ago, I think. And it said, I would like to know how people experienced the first days, weeks, and months of their recovery, and how they managed to get their lives back on track. So this is early recovery, first days, weeks, and months.
Well, that's a hell of a question. Never mind. No.
I mean, again, we've kind of answered that over time, even, and
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've talked about this stuff before. I mean, yeah, go back to whatever episode that was. It's the first 30 days.
Right.
It was like 4 or 5, somewhere in there. That was an early episode, but yeah. We've talked about it plenty. Read the question again, because there was one in there that I wanted to address.
Oh shit!
One part of it.
Hang on 1 second here. I was just going to pull up our website to see what episode that was. But all right, so I would like to know how people experienced the first days, weeks, and months of their recovery, and how they managed to get their lives back on track.
That one. Yeah. Well, how you experience it is pretty easy. You fucking experience it. You do it. It's different for you. Don't drink. You don't get high. You listen to what other people are telling you to do, and you do it. So that's easy. How do we get our lives back on track? That takes time. I don't know about you, but I'm still working on it. Again, life on track. What the hell does that mean?
Right.
I have a job, I have a car, I have a bank account, I have a house, I have, I don't know. Yeah. My life is kind of on track, I guess. But like we talked about, this is a new life. This is a life that I've never experienced before. And I'm grateful for that, but it's a day at a time, man. I'm dealing with it as it comes, still like early recovery, like now, like it will always be. It's always going to be new and different. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing,
right?
And it's growing and getting better, and good days, bad days, whatever. But yeah, moving forward, man, I'm experiencing it. Same thing. I'm doing what they tell me to do. I'm putting this program into action, and that's it. Pretty much from day one, to now, and I'm sure tomorrow.
Everything willing, right? So it was, episode 4. Man, we were just babies back then.
Yeah,
that was such a cute time.
It was.
Okay.
We were so adorable. We sounded like shit.
So this was, and I don't know if this is still one of our top episodes for a while. I can't recall if it still is, but I'm just going to read what I put on here. So this is episode 4. And obviously season 1 doesn't matter. We keep them all numbered, but so episode 4, look on our website, Spotify, any of the places where you want to listen to, but it says, in this episode, we talk about when each of us got to the sober living facility, that being the Keating Center. You'll hear how different our experiences were. We also dive into that first 30 days that we were sober, some of the challenges that we dealt with in early sobriety. We talk about the people who influenced us. We talk a little bit about relapse and trying to come to grips with the power greater than ourselves. So honestly, and I mean this 100% sincerely, that was a really good episode from an informational standpoint. And that was just one of those ones where we had, and again, it was right in the beginning of us doing this thing, which is, this is episode fucking 50. which still blows my mind. How have people have been listening to us for 50 fucking episodes?
Right. We know how we've been yakking for 50 episodes, but, but how the hell do you people listen to it?
And again, thank you. If you're
we're appreciative.
If your ears are up to this right now, thank you. Appreciate it. But I remember listening back to that when it started to climb as far as the popularity. and
Mhm.
and thinking, damn, it was a great conversation that we had, in my opinion. And there's a couple of
Mhm.
those episodes. I remember episode 13 was another one that was a good episode. 10, I'm sorry, episode 10 was, we talked about the absolutes. Episode 4 was the first 30 days. And then of course Mike's episode, my episode, are 1 and 3. So those, if you want background on the two of us. But seriously, episode 4 was it was a lot of great information. So.
Mhm.
But I mean, everything that Mike said, I mean, the main thing that when I think back, and if I remember correctly, this person might be just only weeks sober, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that.
Ah.
Really new.
Mhm.
But I remember at that point, the only thing that I could do, and Mike already said it, was follow direction and just keep doing that that next right thing that we were taught. I
Yeah.
was literally just being almost like somebody had a leash on me and said, you need to go here, you need to
Mhm.
sit, you need to go eat, you need to do this. Because I
Yeah.
didn't know what to do. I literally did not know how my life was unmanageable, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, clearly our lives were a fucking mess, and the way we were working them and living them wasn't working.
Right.
So, right, yeah, and if you're newly sober, clearly what you were doing before was not working. So try something new.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully, and there was, I kept, once I posted that on Instagram the other day, I just let it run. And I do that every once in a while with a post. I'll just tell people that, this is for the group. I want you guys to build a list of answers for, for folks that are new to this thing. And I let our community, I still love that word that Christine used. I let our community
Mm-hmm.
just answer, and I'll go in and I'll read and I'll like their post, but I usually don't comment on those at all, or even offer my opinion, because it's sometimes nice to just have to see a group like that. It makes me feel good too, to see a group of people
Mm-hmm.
come together like that and make up a list about what they went through. It's nice, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah. What else? I mean, that
All right.
was the only other thing, like, outside of the ordinary. But my point is that I've got these other things on this list here that we haven't touched, which I think's kind of funny, because it was, what the funniest thing was, in the weeks that we go into this, and I've got this full list of things, and I'm like, man, we won't even get through half of these things. We run through the entire fucking
Mm-hmm.
list. It's like, it'll be like 57 minutes, and I don't know what we're going to talk about anymore. And then on something like this, it's an hour and 22 minutes that we've logged so
Yep.
far. And we talked about
Mm-hmm.
just a small number of things, which again, I don't know. I don't know why this stuff blows my mind. It makes me happy when things surprise me these days, I guess.
Right. Yeah, that's it, man. That's the joy of this thing, is we don't know what's going to happen. That's this and life and all kinds of good stuff, man.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. I think we're done, because I'm on real time here, as far as like old time, and I got
Right.
at least an hour and a half of work ahead of me, if everyone's going to feel bad, to put together this fabulous episode. No, it's really not that bad, because now it's even better. I can sit downstairs with Mike, and Chris will be here shortly, and then we just sit down there and
Right.
shoot the shit. That I got 2 computers and my phone, and I put together this thing. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
But I think, Mike, we're done. I think we're fucking done.
I think we are. I know I'm fucking done.
All right, man. Well, do your thing. It is all you.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. As always, be good, be kind to each other, do something nice for somebody else. If you like us, subscribe to us, share us with your friends. And as always, please, fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying you cannot fuck off past here. Climb over the gate. Dream the impossible dream, and keep fucking off forever.
Did you take your glasses off in the middle of it or something?
No, I looked away because, I for some crazy reason, maybe I've been doing this long enough. I think I've got it. What an asshole. I got nothing, people.
I wish you would have just said, no, I'm glad you said the right thing. Nah, I looked away.
I looked away.
Oh, the first thing, I was trying not to laugh when you're like, yeah, if you like us. And then I'm trying not to laugh at that. And then you're like, yeah, share us with your friends. friends, and of course my mind's going filthy, and and then you just whew.
That's right.
Thank you. Just thank you. That's all I'm going to say. All right, brother. I love you, and I will literally see you shortly.
Yes, you will. We'll open the doors, and there we are.
like a 70s sitcom. Hello.
Hello.
All right, brother. I love you.
All right. Love you too, man.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.